You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, team. Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Miriam Gonzalez and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Girls After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Girls After Show.
Woo! Girls. It was a great episode today.
Yeah, what was that? Like, really, what was that, Kelly?
Well, I'm excited. We had a great episode tonight. Hi, everybody. We are here doing another Girls After Show because Bing is for doing. So that's what we're doing. I am joined here with, we've got a male in the house tonight. So I was getting like ganged up on. We're trying to support it myself last night. Last time I wasn't doing it.
You did a good job.
I tried. I don't know. So please, everyone, introduce yourselves.
My name's Thomas.
Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you very much, Spicy Marty. Nice to officially meet you.
The pleasure is all mine, sir.
Thank you. I'll take that.
As Thomas said, Spicy Marty in the building. And next to me, we have the beautiful
Miriam.
Miriam.
Here I am. And I am Kellie O, and we are doing Girls Season 1, Episode 4, and it is Hannah's Diary. And I was actually tweeting with someone that actually watches the show. So again, I remind you guys to please go to iTunes and download us and comment and let us know what you think of the show, because I had a really interesting conversation with one of my Twitter friends about the show. And, you know, it's a guy, and he's just asking why, what is it about the show that, you know, that we like, because he just wasn't getting it. So it's interesting. So we want to know what you guys think too. So please get involved, download us, comment, and do all that so, you know, we can break the show down all together.
He didn't know what we liked about the show. Like, how do you not
well,
like
he's just like, I just don't get it. I mean, I don't see why the certain guys are heartthrobs and why this, you know, just some of the different scenarios.
Right.
And so we were kind of going back and forth a little bit, but we'll get into that later in the show. I'll bring it up again and we'll talk about it.
So you're going to call him out, basically.
A little bit.
We're ready to attack.
That's what this episode was all about, calling everybody out this episode.
Right.
That's what it was all about. So we're going to do that on our show tonight. So let's get into it. Miriam, do you want to tell us a little bit about what happened last week?
Oh, last week, what happened? So many things happened. Oh my God, I'm totally blanking.
I know she did just kind of like put you on the spot.
I know, I did. I called you. Go, ready?
She called me out.
She got the test
last
back,
week,
right?
she got the test back. She got the STD test back. She got HPV, as Thomas had said
That's
2
right.
weeks ago.
All adventurous women have. All adventurous women do.
No, we don't.
No, that is not okay.
Really?
No, we don't.
I would have taken that as a compliment a few weeks ago. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
You call me adventurous, now I'm like, oh, hell no.
No. And so
Run
she got
the other way.
She got the STD. She confronts Adam. Adam denies it, said he got tested, which we all know is a load of bull.
Right.
And then after that, Marnie meets an artist. Marnie's very excited by this artist to the point where she just kind of handles her business on her own after a little confrontation.
Right.
And then we have Shoshanna and Jessa. Jessa wound up getting a job as a nanny, and she had this flirtation going on with the papa of the little girls.
With Daddy?
With
A little
baby daddy.
420 going on, and which brought us to this episode today.
Right, which we find out that Hannah got a job.
Yes.
So congratulations to
Congratulations,
Hannah.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Very hands-on job. We'll
A
get to
very
that.
hands-on
Right.
job.
We will definitely be getting into that one in a
We
little
didn't think it was
bit.
possible, but she landed a gig.
She did, so that's fantastic. But how does the show start? We start out with some very questionable sexting.
So, yeah.
Yes. A squirrel wrapped around Adam's big cock, correct?
Apparently. Wow.
I don't know how he put that fur coat around it. I don't know what was going on and why he would even think that that was sexy, but he sent that to somebody else but accidentally sent it to Hannah. Like it was meant for somebody else, right?
Could you imagine getting a guy that you have this whatever kind of relationship with, and you get a naked picture, and then oops, sorry, that wasn't for you?
Yeah, but
How
who sends that? Oops,
humiliating.
I did send it to you. I'm sorry, but
he's
you
such a
just leave it
jerk.
alone, and then if
No.
she responds,
That-
you're like, oh, how did you like that? But who really? Like,
That can be done when it's
correct
not a
that.
penis or not a body part. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Mom, I'm running a few minutes late. Or this is what my calamari looks like. Not a penis.
And then
Right.
oops,
Like a squirrel.
sorry.
That was meant for somebody else. It wasn't meant for your mom. That was definitely meant for another woman.
Right.
But then Hannah rewards him by sending a nude photo back.
which apparently she had a cucumber with, or looked like she was using a cucumber.
But
Yeah.
it's like bad guys finish first. For whatever reason, she's rewarding his bad behavior.
She is.
I think I would die if somebody sent me that text and then told me it was for somebody else. Somebody that I was sleeping with at that. That means you're sleeping with somebody else. That's like a bona fide.
It's
like,
humiliating.
admitting-
But
I
she
mean,
responded
yeah.
back to it, and she totally either should have just left it alone or asked a question and not send another naked and a full body naked
Right.
picture. She didn't even
Whole
like,
face,
so you
yeah.
can send that to
Yeah.
other people.
There's a rule when it comes to sexting. From the neck down.
Not that any of us here know about that,
Professional sexters over here.
but so let's keep moving forward.
So she, Marty and Charlie advise her not to reply back. She does it anyway. And then, we go back and she's at her new job. And her boss is feeling her up. He's massaging her.
Right. Or
'Cause she
molesting.
looks
Massaging,
tense.
molesting, same thing.
He's like, I'm a Reiki. I'm certified in Reiki. And he's like just rubbing on her. And at first, like he was rubbing her shoulder. I was like, okay, that's really sweet. And then when he just went down for the chesticles, I was like, no, that's
It was
not
so
cool.
Chesticles. I like
ridiculously
that.
inappropriate. So then she's in the bathroom talking to her coworkers, and she's like,
They dismissed it.
yeah, they're like, you get used to it because he has really good insurance,
he
and he buys
nice
nice
gifts.
gifts.
So we're introduced to these coworkers too.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily know their names. They're just kooky, crazy coworkers that
Right.
we haven't been too introduced on their background, but all we know is that they're a little eccentric. They draw eyebrows on.
They gave
Chola
us the
eyebrows.
chola
Cholita
eyebrows.
eyebrows.
And I love that she rocked the chola eyebrows the entire rest of the episode.
Yeah, she didn't smear him or anything.
No,
That
and
was
look in
impressive.
the mirror not one time because there's no way that you thought that was
Now, one
okay.
thing that these coworkers did do is they explained to her the difference between allowing your boss to fill you up occasionally,
Right.
and then and how inappropriate it is to have your pseudo boyfriend or whatever he is send a penis picture that's
'Cause
meant
that's
for someone
just
else.
disrespectful.
That is so different and not okay.
She's like, look, it's like a rapper's fur coat.
we already know
And then
that
she's like, I've seen that before.
their judgment cannot be trusted simply when you advise that it's not molestation or
Or that it's appropriate to just
Yeah,
dismiss
for an
the
iPod.
feeling.
Well, I like how the boss was like, you'll let me know if the touching gets inappropriate, right? Like, this is your chance to tell me if you want this job or not.
Right, basically, yeah.
pretty much. But he seems so nice though.
He
I
just
might
likes
fall
to
for it,
cop a
too.
feel every now and then.
He's like the creepy neighbor that you're
I
just
don't
like,
know.
he's like, come have some candy.
But did he like pay for one of the girls' summer camps too?
Well, the sister of one of the girls. Yeah,
I mean,
so he's
come on
generous.
now. Summer
It's-
camp paid
'Cause
for.
it- 'cause they
I
said-
get
they
a
said
college
you
comma
get-
feel.
You get to
LA,
touch my booty, and I get my sister gets to go to summer camp.
Because they said you get used to it and the perks pay off. And that's basically how they justify
And
it.
they probably are
which
really
is-
good massages. So, it
took a
it
class
evens
with
Well, it's
out.
a full
you
body.
know.
It's a full body massage. We obviously saw
There
that. I
is
like
comfort
it.
in knowing you're not the only one that's being sexually assaulted. I mean, it's everybody. You guys have
I
built
mean,
a family.
Whatever floats your boat, I guess, but that's still inappropriate.
Yes.
Very inappropriate.
They're all compromising themselves
Right.
for the sake of having a job, which I guess in these times in that industry with what they do, that's what they're
Well,
going to
then,
have to do to
and
keep
also
it.
you ask the question, like, okay, so this guy that you're sleeping with, it's not your boyfriend that you're just dating. He accidentally sent, sexts you a penis picture that wasn't meant for you, but you let your boss fill you up. Like, where are the priorities? Like, how is one different from
Well,
the
they're
other?
looking at it as like this is our paycheck and this is our means
Right.
to survive,
Right.
which doesn't.
Health
I'm not saying it
benefits.
justifies it, but that's what how they're
In LA,
yeah.
many a girl does that, so it's all good.
And they don't work at their job. They get to come late. They don't really have to work.
Right.
And so they're looking at it like, well, you fill me up. It's worth it. I don't really have to. They're gossiping all day on the job.
Right.
So it evens out for them.
So, but, so they make her like rethink her situation where she goes to Adam's house and tells him, this is enough. I'm not putting up with this anymore. I feel stupid. I hate that I feel stupid. I hate that I'm telling you that I feel stupid because now you think I'm probably more stupid than you already thought I was.
For like 5 minutes, weren't we all proud of Hannah? For
Yes.
just like,
Yes.
For just like maybe 20 seconds. Not even, I won't even give it like that long. But she did the infamous girl chick move that we always do, and she got weak. She
At the
fell
end.
weak to the charm because we can try to be as strong as we want to be, and the moment that he just pulls us closer, she fell putting out of
And
arms.
and he wasn't even paying attention. He's looking at the neighbor
like,
and smiling.
wait,
Well, the
the
neighbor's like walking by with the shopping cart. It was so
little
random.
lady
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
give any
And
attention.
he's just like so not interested really in what she's saying. He's like half paying attention. He's like, wait, what are you asking for?
Right.
Like,
The thing
he's
is
not even into it.
Once he realized that she wasn't into him, he became into her.
Exactly.
And
I mean,
that's
her
typically
lips
what
started to quiver.
happens.
It started to get really emotional at
She-
the end, and I felt really
Yeah.
bad.
That's
Me
what
too. I got
typically
emotional with
happens
her.
inside
Yeah.
those types of situations. You have the girl likes the guy doesn't like the girl, but the minute the girl's not interested, all of a sudden the guy's interested. And then the girl, of course, becomes vulnerable, and then she puts out, and then he's not interested again. So it becomes this whole, it's going to be a
Cat and
circus, I think,
mouse,
for the next
yeah.
few episodes.
Right.
With this whole dynamic. He's going to, I love it when you talk to me that way. She's like, I don't want to talk to you that way.
Right.
Yeah.
She was standing up for herself, and he was getting turned on by it.
right.
Well, it's all part of the chase.
Yeah.
And then she was kind of blowing it though when they were hooking up, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I just want to be nice to you." And he's like, "No, keep doing it." And then it just was like the.
Well, then she's like, I can't. And then when he comments, she's like, why didn't you text me back after her, she sent her sexy picture back. And,
He admits to masturbating after it.
and then he likes when he makes the mention to the cucumber, and she's like, I can't take a serious, naked picture of myself. That's just not me. And he's like, well, be who you are.
Right.
And then that locks her in even more.
I know.
Then she's just like all back in love again.
Sucker for the bad boy.
Yeah.
With her holy underwear, as we learn later. But we'll get there. We'll get to that.
Maybe his, fur coat penis did that.
Yeah. Well, then let's jump over to Shoshanna, walking down the street with Jess, and she runs into an old camp friend, an old camp counselor friend.
That was such a cute, girl meets boy moment. They were looking each other in the
know.
eyes. You felt like butterflies in the air.
It was so uncomfortably awkward and sweet.
I know.
was.
You could tell he was really interested in her. She was really shy and so caught off guard and surprised by it. It was really, really cute.
And they had catch-up time sitting on the steps together.
Yeah.
And just both admiring how each other handled summer camp last
Yeah.
year.
And saving the girl in the canoe that she had 2 feet, two legs and
like
two
she
different
could
canoes.
die.
And
You
it
could
could
die
split your
that
butt
way.
and you'll die.
But I love that he asked her out later on.
I like
like
too.
that. He asked her to spend quality time together later. Although it was a weird, awkward date, he comes over to the house and something's wrong with his knee.
Well, I think that was kind of his move.
Yeah.
Was that a move?
Yeah, it's kind of that.
think
It's-
it kind
I
of
would have
was.
fallen for that because
I'm
I thought something was wrong
sorry.
with his leg.
I
It's
think
kind
that
of
was
that
kind
awkward,
of a move.
I don't know how to tell you I want to get with you move, but so my leg, can
Oh,
I?
So
and
then he
you get the
spreads
green
his
light.
leg, and
And
then
then-
he's like, you can touch it if you want to.
And he was
I
pitching
thought he
a tent.
meant her knee.
Yeah.
I
No,
I thought he meant you
He's-
can touch my knee if you want.
Well, no, he was pitching a tent. He's like, you can touch it. I think that's what he was referring to.
Got it.
It was totally a
I think I'm
move.
like Shoshanna. Because I totally was like, oh, his poor knee. That's so nice of her to let him put his
Oh,
leg
no.
on her.
I would have been like,
you
honey,
can put your leg on the table.
thank you.
know?
Let me move the popcorn. Stretch it out.
She obviously really wants to lose her virginity.
She does.
Though, because
We
he's
know
the first
that,
guy
yeah.
that gives her attention, and he's a nice guy at that. So
Yeah.
of course she's going to try to jump on the tent.
She's trying to jump on the tent.
Right, she would want to jump on the tent. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
and then immediately she, because he asks her, or tells her, you can touch it if you want, and she's like, I'm not going to touch it without kissing first. So then immediately, they kiss, and then they're boom in the bedroom getting naked, and then he's going downtown.
That's
and
my
she's
kind
like,
of man.
No, but she didn't
He's
like
like,
it, though.
I think well, I don't think that she.
She had never
She
had that
doesn't-
happen.
I don't think
Yeah,
she's
that
never
was her
had that
first
happen before,
time.
so she didn't really know kind of
She
how to
didn't-
handle it. I
yeah,
think she was more shy and kind of embarrassed.
It wasn't
kind
awkward.
of.
That's why she was. When you speak a lot like that during intimacy, it's an awkward.
Because it's not,
for
it's
you.
tension talk. It's very like,
Well,
She
I
wasn't
mean,
talking dirty.
It's
no.
one of those things where she's feeling now things that she's never felt before, and she's like, "Is this supposed to feel the way it's feeling?"
Right.
Because he had said that he enjoys doing that. God
Yeah.
bless him.
I knew you were going to say that. I was like,
He enjoys
Snaps to
waiting for
Matt.
someone
He
to.
enjoys south of the border, and so it's one of those things where she's like, "Am I supposed to be enjoying this? If he's really good at it, then she's enjoying it, but at the same time, she's feeling guilty because it's like, whoa, what are you doing? It's
you're right.
new."
Yeah, she doesn't really know kind of what's going on.
So what does she do? She pulls him up. She's like, "Come on, do you just want to have sex? Let's just have sex." And he's like, "Wow, I really like your style." And he's all
very
happy.
relaxed.
I don't have to work at this at all.
It's so chill. It doesn't
And
take
then-
much work.
And then she drops the bomb. just so you know, I've never done this before. And then he's totally like shuts down.
And then he's like, oh, so you're a virgin? No, I'm not a real virgin. I mean, I'm a virgin, but like I'm totally into it. I'm totally ready. And then he's like,
I'm the so non-virtuous virgin, right?
Yes, exactly.
She's not a bleeder or
I'm not a clingy bleeder.
Yeah.
What do you say? You get attached when you bleed.
I'm so not an attachment.
It's like bleeding, virgin. Yeah, no, an attachment bad.
I felt really bad for her though, because majority time situations like that wouldn't occur where the guy was really going to reject you. He would have taken her virginity in real life.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know, because
in many a situation, I will say this. I know a lot of guys who would not like to take girls' virginity because it is true. What happens is that very first time, the infatuation, if it's done properly, it becomes like,
if it's a situation that you don't regret at the end.
Yeah, if you don't regret at the end, you become really attached to the person because you're like, oh my God, like I was deflowered by this individual.
Well, and it's a very emotional kind of connection that you have with somebody because it's a big choice for, you know, most people, especially that she's waited this long. So she's thought about it. It's weighing on her mind. She wants to get it over with. So that's a lot of weight to put on it. And especially when you don't know kind of how you're going to feel after. She doesn't really know him. It's a whole lot to go through all by yourself when you're, you know. So I'm kind of glad that he rejected her for that because I think that she needs to be with someone
who appreciates it.
Like dating and intimacy and
that she'll see again.
Yeah, that's true. But I just thought he was a nice guy. I didn't expect him to do the
He became
whole...
kind of the
very
awkward
nice with the
opposite
chili.
of her to an extent. He's
Yeah.
a little more experienced, but almost as awkward.
Yeah, he has a weirdness to him too. I thought they were perfect for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't necessarily think, and maybe, you know, don't yell at me if I say this, but I don't necessarily think that it makes him a not nice guy. I don't think it makes him a bad guy.
It might have even made him a nicer guy to not have taken advantage of it.
He didn't take advantage of it. He was totally honest, and he's just like, I don't want the responsibility of it.
Well,
basically, is what he was saying.
It shows like whatever his intention of that date was, he has respect for her. Bottom line, he respects her as a person, and he didn't want to put her through that, knowing that maybe he just wanted one thing and was going to move forward. I think that's pretty neat.
Guy.
No,
Why we have you here?
No, but
I don't know if it was so much respect as I don't want to deal with the burden of you
Maybe.
and your clinginess after I
mean, it
take
could
your
be.
virginity.
You know, it
because
could
he
be.
wouldn't think that if she had already had sex, it wouldn't be about the respect. He would have tapped that.
No,
it
but
was
the fact
because
that she's a
Also, she
virgin,
was
maybe
pretty,
he's like, you
but
should.
you got to remember too, she was pretty forward also.
Yes.
So he probably got the impression, and this is
That
one
she's
thing that
experienced.
girls. Oh, this is a mistake that when we're young, all of us, I'm sure all of us in this room have made, is that we unintentionally, when we like somebody, we kind of unknowingly give off wrong things because you don't really know. You're learning how to date and all that. You're trying to impress, and you want them to like you, and so you kind of give a little more than you actually
have to offer.
or that you're willing to. You make it more casual than it probably is because you
Right.
want to be the cool girl. You want him to like you. You don't want it to be weird. That's why she's like, I'm not a clingy bleeder.
Right. Oh,
You
yeah.
know
You're
what I
right.
mean?
You're right.
Like,
She's
we
telling
do-
him what she thinks he needs to hear for that moment. You're right.
To keep it going. So that still, I still don't think it was necessarily a disrespectful thing on his end. I think he was just kind of given the impression that this was casual because it was a first date.
That's
put your leg on
very
me.
true.
She
He
could have
did
said,
think
put
it
it
was
on.
casual.
You know what I mean? So we don't necessarily
She
want to
initiated
go.
it.
So
Like,
he's like,
he
I don't want
offered
to
and
date you
she-
until you're ready for casual sex.
Right. I mean, he obviously doesn't want a relationship. He thought
Right.
she was hot. He liked her, wanted to hang out with her, wanted to get it on, and that's what he thought he was coming into. He didn't realize it was this whole
And they
other
were watching
thing.
a movie together, which is,
You don't invite somebody over to your house on
The
a first
first
date to watch a movie,
I said-
girls.
I was
Come on
thinking-
now. That's code for
exactly-
let's get naked.
Yes.
So,
Which is why he
you're
did the
saying I
leg
need to
and then-
cancel my plans for tonight?
Yes, unless you're ready to get naked.
I like how she doesn't really know the etiquette either of
Right.
like what sex entails, and
Right.
it's to the
Did
point
you
where
feel bad for her though? It was just her being so awkward in that, and her trying to, like she was saying, justify how like as a female, how would you feel for her just in that situation?
I felt horrible for her.
It was she couldn't redeem
Rejection
herself
is
at all.
never a
it's-
great happy moment for anyone, let alone a virgin.
And it doesn't. Even if it was with her best interests, at the bottom of it, it still doesn't feel good. And it's still you never want to get rejected, especially not when you're naked.
Especially when you're throwing it at him. You're like, no, take it. Come on.
And he still won't take it. That's it. Cuts your ego.
And
That's
she
a big
wants to
dig.
be relatable to the girls too.
Right.
She wants
She wa-
girls. She wants to be relatable to the girls.
And
Like
not
she
feel
wants to
left
be
out,
part
yeah.
of them, and be able to hold these conversations with them.
Yeah, she totally wants to fit in to the whole, to being kind of in that next stage of her life. And, you know, and I really hope that she kind of slows it down and thinks about it and they give her better advice so she can still fit in without having to compromise.
That's true.
You know.
What year in college is she?
She's only 22. She's got to be almost
so
towards
she's
the end.
Senior, maybe?
She's maybe junior or senior, like toward the end. Yeah.
Because she's an adult now, so she may not have to worry about that whole clingy issue that when you're a child you have to worry about, like high school. Maybe it's a little bit different when you get a little bit older and more mature in college.
I think she's going to be clingy, though.
I think she's going to be clingy. She's already clingy to her friends.
Yeah, that's true. She's a clingy person.
She has a clingy personality.
What is it, like she's a stage 5 Klingon or something?
Stage 5 clinger?
Stage 5 clinger.
It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be good.
Tweet me if you get the reference.
You know, when she does give it up, it's gonna be a difficult situation, I think, emotionally for her.
I think so too, because I mean, it's a big deal.
Unless it's with the right guy.
I mean, even so, either way, it's still like a lot to process with yourself. And I think the older that you are, the more aware you are of yourself and who you are. So I think it makes it a little bit more difficult because when you're young, everything's expendable. Nothing really matters. You think you're invincible and you can do whatever and it doesn't really matter as much. So I think it's probably going to be a little bit harder that she's a little older than the average.
It's also surprising given...
You don't agree?
Oh, go ahead. No, go first. Finish.
No, I have a confession. So I lost it at 21 when I was in college, and I was not clingy. I hit it and quit it. But it was with a boyfriend who I made for 3 years, and then after we did it, I was able to just like break up and move on.
Okay.
And so in her defense, there's a possibility that she might not be clingy because she's an adult, and that's why I was making the adult argument. When we're young and naive, we don't know any better, and we think that person's going to be our husband who we sleep with for the first time. But as an adult, I think that she'd be able to handle it better. But her personality is clingy, so that may be the reason.
She's immature in a lot of different ways.
That's kind of the thing too, because I mean, I was kind of on the younger side when that happened for me, but I wasn't clingy either, and I was young. I just didn't. It was one of those things where you just, I think
you know?
so. It's like, what else? I got it.
I wasn't clingy
got
either. It's all good. I'm not gonna quit.
Thomas, you look like a clinger. I don't know about that one. I think you sucked your thumb.
But because she does have an addictive, kind of like a clingy personality, I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But we'll see. You know, it's an important thing. It's a big, kind of life-changing thing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So speaking of things that you cling on to, Jessa in her new job,
That's
and
right.
not clinging on to these children.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
you see them initially walking down the street. They run into the father, and I thought it was the cutest thing. Like those little girls know way too much.
Yeah,
They're little
for their
adults.
age.
They
They really
are.
are little adults. They're like, oh, this is your uncle so and so, and he's back from top rehab.
I mean, they write books about addiction.
Alcoholics Anonymous.
That probably was about Uncle.
He's like, she's like, can we go with you, the little one? And he's like, oh, we got to go talk about work. And then the older one, you don't even have a job. Calling. This episode is all about calling everybody out. The
Yeah.
kids are
Yeah,
calling
totally.
out the parents. Like everybody
But that is one thing. You can't talk around kids because they soak everything up. They'll repeat every single thing that they overheard you say.
Right.
So that's why moms can't gossip about their husbands in front of the kids. They'll report later exactly what happened.
I know. I mean, what do we think about these kids? I mean, you know that they totally...
Oh, they're little brats.
They totally ran away and hid.
Well, but it was interesting
granted,
that
she wasn't
she's
paying attention, though.
trying to unionize all the nannies, and she wants to take a pay cut because she's like, I don't think it's fair that I make more than all of you. I'm just like all of you. And they even call out saying, like, we thought you were an actress. She's like, no, I'm just a nanny. And then unionizing.
Just like you.
Just like all of you. And they kind of look at her like, whatever. And then, where's your kids? And they're gone.
They're hiding from her.
They're hiding from her on purpose and won't come out.
Now, I don't do they not like her?
I think from last week's episode, the littlest one, who was the one that was the most offensive, was it Lola?
Lola.
Lola's the youngest one. She was like, she's the one that busted Jessa and her dad, 420 it up.
She's the hater.
She busted them hanging out and smoking pot and eating her snacks. And now she's got this whole little jealousy thing. So now when they run into dad on the street and then they go and they, have this interaction at the park, she's bitter. The little one's not liking her. And the fact that that Jessa can take the attention from dad unlike she can.
Yeah, it could
So
be that
she's
they're
picking up
jealous
on
of
that.
attention, and especially because their mom is busy and
Oh, yeah.
you know, all of that. And then all of a sudden they caught, you know, Jessa not paying attention, being with the little nanny posse, and they went to go hide.
I know a little
kind
girl
of like,
that-
I'll teach you, and
Yeah.
then they go tattle on her as soon as the parents come home.
Now that was a setup. I felt like, how are
Absolutely.
you going to be the ones that hid? She didn't lose you, you hid.
Uh-huh.
And then you go and you dime her out as soon as the parents walk in.
Because I think that they ultimately want attention from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's someone coming in, spending time with their dad, kind of, you know, I think they're just kind
It's
of
taken away from them.
yeah, getting a little bit defensive about it, little bratty kids.
We'll leave it to the dad to make Jessa feel better about having lost his children. Oh,
Right.
I've done that before too.
Well, you know, I have to give it up to her though. She admitted it. She didn't lie. She, you know, totally admitted it right off the bat. I did lose your kids, and she looked really.
Well,
you know,
the thing is she admitted it to the father and not to the mother. And the father, because he's more on the loser side, no job,
Yeah.
you know, irresponsible, whatever. He was like more, he was more compassionate about the situation. Where like the mother, when she was holding the little girl, she's like, stop making up stories, stop lying.
well, I mean, even we know from the first, you know, from her first day of work, the mother doesn't even pay attention. She didn't even have time to sit and interview her properly. So they don't even have. She doesn't even talk to her.
Right.
This is a woman that takes care of your children all day. She doesn't even talk. So she didn't even really. I mean, if I don't know if that would have been my kids, I would have like, what? Tell me what happened.
Right.
She just is like, oh, you're
Exactly.
lying, and goes to put them to bed.
Because
Which I thought, you know.
she's
In her
not
bed.
qualified.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe those poor kids get lost all the time, or they hide, or maybe that's something that they do,
Or maybe
and
they
the
just
mom
want
knows
attention.
it.
I mean, like you said earlier, that's just they want attention.
Yeah.
And
Right.
to show their parents, hey, pay attention to us. We can go missing. I mean,
Yeah. Well, if you need to get books on childcare and figure out how to babysit properly when you're dealing with little bratty children,
Where would we go for
you
that?
could go to www.afterbuzztv.com and click on our Amazon banner, and you can shop directly from AfterBuzz TV to Amazon.com, which is fantastic. So if you see anything on our shows that you like, any clothes, any memorabilia, you want to get some AfterBuzz stuff, maybe we'll have some of that stuff up there. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and click on our Amazon banner and go shopping. Shopping. All right, so what's next? now I want to shop. I just lost my train of thought.
That's hilarious. Well, we already discussed the jobs, and so last but not least, speaking of jobs, I don't know if it relates to blowjobs very much, but
Oh,
diaries.
ooh,
We
you
can
went
get
there.
there's a way to go into diaries from there.
the title of the
as a dog.
episode.
Intimacy moments that are held in a book.
You know, the whole situation was just
was awkward.
Charlie. I like him so much.
But
Alright.
he should have held his ground and he should have said, "Dude, get out of their bedroom. This is
Well,
none of your
Well,
business."
he
Like,
kind of wanted to know
It
that.
Yeah,
worked
he
out in
wanted
his
to
benefit. So I like how like the friend, which I forget his name because he was in the first episode.
Yeah,
The
they need
friend
to get
comes
better
in.
about names. Please,
Yeah.
like reintroducing.
That is a request that we have because
Yes.
it's hard for us to name new characters that they introduce because they don't introduce them.
I
they
know,
just
they're just
exist
there.
on the show. That guy, that girl.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
It seems as if Charlie and his friend have this whole like musical thing going on, and they're trying to write a song, and Charlie's trying to perform it, and he's needing a little inspiration. He's like sitting there hammering out a table so it looks like it comes out from Restoration
But
Hardware.
he's making her a gift.
He's making her a gift that she's not going to appreciate.
I
And he
know.
learns that the hard way. And so, of course, the friend's like, oh, wow, we're in the girls' apartment and the girls aren't here. Haven't you ever been wanting to look around? He's like, Marty has nothing to hide. There's nothing to
Yeah.
find. He's like, no, let's go into
I'm
Hannah's
gonna go
room.
fondle girl stuff.
Yeah. So he goes into her room and he starts going through her things. He's like, wow, crotchless panties. Oh, wait, these
the
are
whole-
holes.
Holy.
Oh, Hannah.
He smells her dildo or her
But
vibrator.
it's used for both of them. Remember he said dual
It's a
uses?
shared
Yeah, it's
tool?
a shared tool.
Oh, my God. So bad.
Charlie,
and he
Charlie,
smells
Charlie.
it. Who smells? Oh my gosh.
Well, he's obviously
He's
a
the
pervy,
douchebag
weird
friend.
guy.
Well, he was talking about, have you ever looked at a family picture and wonder if they all have sex with each other? Like, who says
Yeah, he's
that?
a weirdo.
Yeah, that was kind of odd.
I mean, but he's the guy that also brought the opium tea in the first
That's
episode.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wasn't he dating? He's dating someone. He's
Well,
dating
yeah,
one of their friends.
he had a girlfriend, I think.
Or a friend that's a girl that's a friend.
oh, at the party he did, yes. At the,
But he
at the
acts
opium
like he
party.
hasn't gotten any in a year the way he was acting.
Well,
and
he
was
said he
sleeping in
wants
Hannah's stuff.
to have sex with somebody who looks like him.
Which is
That's what he
very
said.
narcissistic. It's
Little bit.
Very, yeah.
Just a little
Okay.
bit. So, they're in Hannah's room and he's going through her things and he's like, where's the chocolate? All of a sudden he sees her diary laying on the bed. First of all, ladies, do not leave your journal lying around.
Never.
I mean, there's some
Lock
unless
your
you write
iPad.
in code, right? Unless you write in code, which I do, you do not need to be leaving that shit out. Oh, pardon my language.
That was a direct quote.
That was a direct quote.
That was from the show, folks.
Sorry, I'm passionate about the whole journaling thing. So, so he goes through the journal and the friend starts to find like, oh, wow, this is stuff that Charlie's not going to want to look at. He's not going to want to read. And he becomes very like, oh, no, you don't want this. Instead of doing the appropriate put it down, walk away.
Right.
He takes it and becomes like very bogarting with it.
I think he did it intentionally.
Which becomes obvious.
Kind of egg him on.
Well, you know what though? As a good friend, I'd want my friend to know what's going on with my, my significant other. If there was some sort of secret that I needed to know, I'd want to know. And so he proceeds they start to wrestle over the book, and then before you know it, you find them at the speakeasy or at the open mic. Or
it's the
talent
first time
show.
Charlie ever really stands up for himself.
No.
Like even with the diary, he was really passive about the whole thing. It's the first time he actually addressed. I was proud of him.
I mean, but is it standing up for yourself? I don't know if embarrassing your girlfriend in front of all her friends is standing up for yourself. I think that he should have addressed it with her one-on-one and given her opportunity to explain something. But I think that was still a coward punk move, what he did.
I think it was, but I think he was just hurt and blindsided because he loves her. And I think he's just like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with you, and I'm going to write a song about it. I want everyone to know this is what you do.
Well, that's
but
what
they're
you
all
do
very immature, too.
Yeah, it's
like,
very early
not,
20s.
Mm-hmm.
It's very early 20s, very bitter, very hurt. I'm going to put your stuff out there and make you look like a fool.
Yeah.
So he gets up there and, he's like, he had already sang 3 songs. Hannah comes in. Shoshanna's asking Jessa about sex advice, which is awesome. She's like, should I go to the bathroom during sex? She's like, no. You don't go to the bathroom during sex. And
what's wrong with that?
sometimes a girl's got to pee.
Hey, guys do too.
You don't want to get a UTI.
If you go, there's longevity. Like, take a break.
Don't. That's the first stage to HPV. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so, and, he sings this song, and, Marnie's reaction, she's mad at Hannah. Throws her drink at her.
Because she got caught. Not because what was said was a lie, but because she got caught.
Yeah.
Her business was put out there. And this is somebody who's been complaining about Charlie since the first episode and has no respect for him, has been very awful to him, and talks about him 24/7 behind his back and doesn't even like having sex with him. So now he's addressing the truth, and she has a problem with that.
She complains about everything he does, like every single thing the man does. And it shocked me that when he said this is Hannah's, I'm going to call it Hannah's diary, they didn't have any reactions about it. I was so surprised.
No,
like she didn't try to run up and grab the mic or run out.
She had no clue.
She had no.
They don't give him any credit at all. And this is the first time he's like, bam, he like basically like gets back at her. I mean, again, it's not an adult move, but for this group of people,
and then when they pull the diary out for the bridge,
that's when it becomes a little bit more realistic, where he's looking through the diary and Hannah's like, oh my God, absolutely mortified.
Well, and it's not like Hannah told anybody. She wrote down, she wrote it down in her personal diary about conversations that they had, and she wasn't necessarily wrong. It's kind of like I don't want to hear you complaining anymore. Either ditch the dude or deal with it.
Yeah,
it's kind of what she was feeling about it,
and it's nothing that she hasn't said to
her face.
Anyways. So it was just that it was brought to the light through something she had written down. So the only argument that she can have against Hannah is that you wrote it down. Maybe that's the only. I mean, I can't think of why else she could be mad at her friend.
She's just mad at. She got called out. That's all she cares about. And if it wasn't for that diary, he wouldn't have known.
I don't think I would be writing about my best friend's personal business in my journal. I'd be journaling about my own journey, which is kind of like, okay, she's a writer who's writing these essays for her future and
her memoirs.
Yeah, her memoirs. Yeah. And instead of writing about her experiences, she's writing about Marnie's, and that's not cool.
Well, I don't think it's, but I didn't take it that way. When
she was venting, maybe.
I think it was that she doesn't have anybody. She can't talk to Marnie about it because she does, and it's like talking to a wall.
Marnie's very cold.
But I mean, you got to think about it too. When you listen to somebody bitch and complain all day long about something, it has to go somewhere. Especially when you have your own stuff on top of it to deal with. She's got this Adam situation that she's looking for a job. She's dealing with HPV, like all this stuff of her own pre-cancer, and then she's got this best friend that has this what looks like a great relationship on the outside. side, and all she does is complain about how great he is and how that sucks.
And you have also brought up in the past that she has this relationship with her best friend where she has the clingy issue as well.
Right.
Where her best friend is this nurturing, coddling, almost parent to her. So it would make sense for her to write about her because she's kind of her everything.
Right. So I didn't really take it like she was trying to bash her. It was more like venting, and instead of going and talking about her behind her back to someone else, she wrote it down. You know, and how can you blame her for them going into her room and looking through her stuff?
No, she's not at fault at all. Like she's allowed to write whatever she wants to.
It's the naive part of her leaving things out that shouldn't be left out.
That's but like on the other side of it, though, it's her house.
At 20-something, like, I'm sorry, you won't find my vibrator sitting on my bed.
Confirmation.
It'll be on the side.
In the special drawer.
But that was in the special drawer.
It was. They were looking through it.
But that's my point. Like the journal, like the vibrator, it's very personal, and you put those types of items away. So that way there's no, the maid doesn't find it. Your mom comes over surprisingly and finds it. You know, it's just like...
Oh, good point. Very good point.
I'm sure she had no idea, though.
She
had no idea that he was going to have company at her house unexpectedly and snooping through her stuff.
Well, how do you think of it this way? How would it be if Marnie were to be the one that found it, and all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe on a drunken night of one too many glasses of wine, decided to read it and then found that her best friend was writing all about her?
Yeah, but I think that's another reason why she left it out, because she didn't, they have this relationship where she didn't feel like she needed to hide it.
Right. The only thing that was rude was he has a vagina part. That's the only thing that she
I
can
think
be upset about.
Really
Marnie can be angry about that because
the lyrics,
she did put disrespectful words in there.
Yeah.
What's Marnie thinking? What's Marnie thinking? What's Marnie thinking? What's it like to date a man with a vagina?
Doesn't she want like a real
It is a little bit belittling your friend, though.
Yeah. But I mean, isn't that something that, she's kind of said? Well, not necessarily in those words, but it's kind of implied to Hannah anyway.
She has.
That she feels like he's not a man, that he needs to be a man, and he needs to treat her a different way, and like all of this. So she's kind of emasculated him already to Hannah. So this is Hannah's interpretation of that.
So true.
It's not nice, and I'm not saying that it's necessarily a flattering thing to say about your friend, but it's still... she was just venting in her own right to herself.
And he's guilty because even he has addressed Marnie about it, saying, what, you want me to treat you like a whore? You want me to be more mean to you? You want me to rough you up? So he is somewhat aware of this. He just didn't expect Hannah to have addressed it in her book.
And he even said when they were at the table, he's like, yeah, she's always miserable. She's always unhappy about everything. Like he said that when they were writing this stuff. It goes back to the whole thing, though, like about the girls chasing the bad guy, and the good guy, he's always there and tosses him to the side or doesn't know what to do with him.
Yeah. Bad guy finishes first, good guy finishes last.
I know, it's so unfortunate. Well, let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and get into some news and gossip and see what we think is going to happen next.
AFTERBUZZ TV. Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
All right. So I want to give a shout out to our friend Adrian on Twitter, who's at Watchtower Base, who tweets and watches our show. So thank you very much for that. He's been commenting and stuff. So I love that. So again, I want to encourage everyone to download us on iTunes and comment and get in the conversation with us. And you can tweet. We're checking. So you can tweet us at AfterBuzz TV, or you can tweet me at Kellie079, and then I'll tweet out to everybody else and we'll mention you on the show. All right. So who's got some news and gossip?
AfterBuzz TV.
Do tell.
No, very excited this week. Lena Dunham was on the Corbett Report. with Stephen Colbert, and it was really a cute little bit. It's only about 4 minutes and change, and they discuss, the show, and it was really cute because Stephen Colbert opens up. He's like, you know what, Lena, I'm very concerned about you. I'm very concerned with you and all of this sex, and they have this dialogue about the show, and Stephen goes as far to say, he's like, I have anxiety, my anxiety for you, it hasn't subsided. He goes, you know what, I'm worried about Britney Spears too. And yeah, well, because there's a lot of references like with some of the things that are done in the show that coincide with certain things like Sex in the City or Britney Spears of today's pop culture, and so he picked up on that, and then it's really cute because they get onto the topic of sex before marriage, and even though Dunham admits to having sex before marriage, or is having sex in real life, she urges that you should get married before you do the sex, and that was the quote: "Get married before you do the sex." And so it was a really cute little thing. If you go onto YouTube, you can find it and check it out. Stephen Colbert. It was a really cute thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I was really happy for her because he was stoked for the show and for her.
That's great.
Awesome.
And
Great.
Marnie, I think her name is Ashley Williams, I believe, in real life. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But she was on Jimmy Fallon last week. She was on, and she was talking about the show.
Allison Williams.
Allison. Okay,
just double-checked right
perfect.
now.
Okay, yes, one of those. She was on Jimmy Fallon, and she was talking about the show and her character and how she relates to it, because she says she's very type A, and that's what attracted her to the character. And I thought it was really cute because they found this. She's a list person. She makes a lot of lists, and I mean I can see like her character's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So they show like this list that she made when she was a kid, like she was like in elementary school or something, and he shows this list, and the number one thing on her list is to make this list and show it to her parents.
Aww.
That's awesome.
I thought it was so cute, and she has like all the things that she has to do that day, and she reminds herself, watch TV but not for too long. Do your homework. Like, it was so cute. But she, she's having a really good time with the show, and I think she's doing great. And her dad is a broadcaster, and Jimmy was asking her how awkward it is to watch the sex scenes with your parents, and she said that they've seen it and are supportive and all that, which I think is great. So I'm happy that the show got picked up for a second season already.
Yes.
Very excited about that. Ow! So we're looking forward to lots more girls to come. So let's get into some predictions and what we think is going to happen next.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
You want to go first, Thomas?
Sure, why not?
What do you think?
You're our token guy.
I think the next episode, I think they're gonna go back. Charlie is gonna get into it with Marnie, and I think that it's gonna get turned around that he shouldn't have been snooping and found the diary, and then it's gonna go back to, well, so and so found it. Well, then why didn't you stand up for me, and why did you call me out? I think it's gonna get turned around like he's the bad person.
She's gonna flip it.
And then
That's great.
I think she's gonna flip it. She's smart. She's smarter than him in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
And I think she'll flip it, and then I think he's gonna come back. He'll either leave or he'll come back running to her, be like, "I'm so sorry, babe. Let me make it up to you."
So let me ask you: do you think that the kiss is in there? Do you think he knows about it? Because they didn't address it, right?
No, they didn't. So that's what I had thought, that she had written about the encounter with the artist.
Too.
That's what I thought.
Maybe he was too much of a coward to say it.
See, I told you he's still a coward.
For him, this is a big deal, though. For him to actually
stand up a little bit.
This is him like sitting up on a ladder like 10 feet high. I mean, for most people, this is cowardly. I mean, he should have just addressed it to her as an adult, but this is
They're
him.
not really adults yet.
Yeah, they're on their way.
Their BlackBerry's still being paid for by their parents.
Only part. Marty's is only half. And then
It's not half.
I think Shoshanna, she may actually, well, she's going to obviously talk to the girls about why she didn't get to have sex. She may try to pursue it again with him, though. She may try to like kind of court the guy and see if he'll put out for her.
That would be cool, because I did like him to take it for her.
I thought I
thought he was a good one for her.
We'll
I approved it.
What about you, Miriam? What do you think?
As far as Adam and Hannah are concerned, I think that, like I said earlier, I think there's going to be this give and take thing going back and forth. I like you. I don't like you anymore. Now I like you again. The whole cat and mouse thing. And then when it comes to Marnie and Charlie, I predict that Marnie is now gonna flip the switch. She's gonna go from being biatch to, oh my God, my man's pissed at me and doesn't want to be with me because I totally just called him a vagina to my friend, and he just pretty much told the whole entire club the whole situation. I think that his dynamic of like pushing her away is gonna start to happen, and she's gonna want to
So
be
you
with
think
him.
there's going to be a shift in power?
Yep.
Once again, the cat and mouse game.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see whose guess is the best, whose prediction is the
Absolutely.
accurate one.
We're taking bets. We're taking bets.
Well, mine was similar to yours, Miriam, as far as the cat and mouse game is concerned with Adam and Hannah. I was really excited to see her finally stand up. And so I think that there's going to be more of that back and forth. But I think that there's got to be something coming up that he's just going to do that's just awful, or she's going to meet someone that treats her better. I'm still waiting for her to realize or get smacked in the face. Maybe he has to beat her for her to see that he is like an awful guy.
Or she'll catch him cheating on her. I mean,
Right.
And maybe.
And even then, I don't think that'll stop her. But I think that Jess is definitely going to lay the moves next time on her baby daddy, babysitter
Ooh,
guy, going
okay.
the father
Good call.
of the kids. I think that's going to happen. We're going to see more of that next time.
Well, I think that Marnie's going to do the artist guy. I think she's going to they're going to get in a fight. Everybody's going to be fighting at that apartment, and she's going to go run off and just kind of release stress that way. Let's see if that happens.
Oh, so
I
all
don't
these
know.
predictions for
What are the
Marnie.
predictions?
Let's see what happens with Marnie.
Well, thank you guys all for tuning in with us, and make sure to download it on iTunes. I know we're having some YouTube problems right now with the service. YouTube is having some issues, so I don't know if our video is going to go up right away. But please, it's free on iTunes, so download it, comment. It just takes a few minutes, and make sure to catch us next week with a new episode of Girls. Yeah. You can tweet with me at KellieO79 out on Twitter, and
At Thomas Guide, Thomas Guide.
And you can follow me or play with my Twitter at spicy_Mari, SPICY_MARI.
I blush every time you say that. You can find me at Miriam Gonzalez on Twitter.
Gonzalez with some Z's.
Yes, with some Z's. Put some Z's on it.
Throw some Z's on it.
Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.